Nowadays, lots of company not only stick to a single solution, or we can say the software solution, but also provide wide variety of software solution. Grafana Lab is also one of the organization also sticking to the same path. Grafana Lab provide wide variety of software solution which include many area like log aggregator, log shipper, tracing, metrics, telemetry, visualization, mainly related to the observability. For this video, we will only focus on one of the area which is provided by the Grafana Labs. Grafana Loki is a log aggregator software solution which is provided by the Grafana Labs. In this video, we will only focus on the working of log aggregator workflow. We will have the architecture of Grafana Loki and what are the features Grafana Loki provides. And end of this session, we will have a demo where I will show you how can you configure the Grafana Loki on Kubernetes. To understand log aggregator, let's assume there is an application which is configured in a server and you want to access those logs. These include the application log, server logs, general log, all the logs which are present on that specific server. So what you will do, you will log in into that system or server and use define commands to access those logs. This sounds straightforward when we talk about single server, or I will say the monolith applications, or even with the few of the servers where in an organization there are not lots of applications present on the servers. But let's go deep into the reality where most of the application are configured in a microservice manner, microservice architecture. So there are lots of issue when we talk about the large number of applications, large number of servers are present over there. With the increasing number of nodes, servers, applications, microservice applications, it's not a good practice to have the straightforward method to access the logs. There can be a reason behind that. One of the reason is you cannot actually directly access the logs just because there can be a restriction to the servers. You cannot directly access to the servers, which means it is not possible for you to access the logs by using the direct method, by directly accessing the servers. With increase in number of nodes, it's very hard for any user to manage the logs. If you are not using any log aggregator tool, or I will say the solutions, you will have to create your own custom scripts. These logs can be very important for any industries, whether they are using it for the analytics, whether they are using it for the auditing purpose. You won't have the detailed debugging capabilities or debugging accessibilities with the commands or simple bash scripts. This will give you a gist why we require a solution to manage our logs. This is where the log aggregator comes into the picture. Log aggregator helps you to store the logs of your application, of your server, or even many more. Not only log aggregator stores the logs, but also provide a large entity of integrations, detailed debugging capabilities, or even more. Log aggregator is not only to store your single application or single server logs, but also used to store all the application logs of your infrastructure and all the logs of your servers in a scalable and highly available manner. When we talk about the log aggregator, it's not possible for the log aggregator to collect logs directly from the application or from the server. This is where the log shipper comes into the picture. This log shipper will act as a mediator for the log aggregator, and it will help to collect the logs from the application and the server. And once it collects the logs from the servers or application, it will directly push those logs to the log aggregator storage. In this session, we are going to use the Promtail, which is a log shipper for the Grafana Loki. And this Promtail is actually created by the Grafana Lab, and this is only specifically created for the Grafana Loki. Promtail will act as a log shipper for the Grafana Loki, and it will collect the logs from the application and the server. Not only it collect the information or logs from the application and server, but also used to mutate and filtering and reconfiguring those logs according to the requirement. Once it mutate or reconfiguring the logs, it will push those logs into the Grafana Loki storage. To collect the application logs from different systems, we required Promtail for each application configured separately. Both Promtail will collect their own individual application logs or server logs and push those logs directly into the Grafana Loki. Once you collect the logs from the application or server into the Grafana Loki, you can use Grafana visualization tool to visualize the Grafana Loki logs, where you can check and debug the application log of different systems. And there is a direct integration of Grafana Loki using the data source method, where you will have to add the endpoints of the Grafana Loki directly into the Grafana data source. And using the explore method, you can check the logs of the applications. When we talk about the log aggregator, one of the important and the major issue lots of people face is how you will store your logs. The main reason behind that, when we talk about all the application, all the server, all kind of logs of your infrastructure, you're storing in the log aggregator, I will say the Grafana Loki. That's where you want to choose what kind of method you want to use to store your logs, and that solution should be very for a long period, not for the short one. Just because if the solution is for the short period, you will have to face and you will have to migrate all the logs from one place to another, and you will have to face a storage issue for that. That's where you want a dynamic solution, dynamic option, where you can actually store your logs. In case of AWS, you can use S3 as a storing capabilities for the Grafana Loki, and it has the direct option provided by the Grafana Loki to store all kind of logs, all the logs directly into the S3. And S3 as compared to the ABS is cheaper, and it can store any amount of log which is coming from the Grafana Loki. And at the same time, you can use Grafana Loki to cache the current data or the data that the user want to check from the Grafana visualization tool.